Have you ever been to the beach and noticed the water creeping up the shore? Then later, it's far away. Why does the ocean move back and forth like this? But here's something even stranger. Some places have huge tides, while others barely change at all. How is that possible? Today, we're going on an adventure to uncover the secrets of the tides. What makes them rise and fall? And why aren't they the same everywhere? Did you know that the tide doesn't look the same everywhere? In some places, the ocean rises and falls by many meters. But in other places, the water barely moves at all. Why do tides act so differently around the world? This is really strange. Why do some beaches have giant tides, while others hardly change? What makes the water move like this? Could it be the wind, the waves, or is something bigger at play? It's time to find out the answer. What causes tides, and why are they different all over the world? Let's explore the science behind this amazing ocean mystery. The answer lies in something invisible but super powerful: gravity. Gravity is the force that pulls things toward each other. It's why we stay on the ground instead of floating away. But gravity doesn't just pull things down. It also works across space. The moon has gravity too, and it pulls on Earth's oceans, making the water rise up. That's what causes tides. Where the moon's gravity pulls the ocean, the water rises up. This is called high tide. The land near this bulging water experiences high tide twice a day. But wait, there's another high tide on the opposite side of Earth. Even though the moon isn't pulling that side, the water still rises because of how Earth moves. Now, what about low tide? If water is being pulled into high tide in two places, that means the water in other areas has to go down. That's why low tide happens. As the Earth spins, different places move into the high tide and low tide zones. That's why tides change every day, because our planet and the moon are always in motion. Even though tides happen all over the world, they don't rise and fall the same way everywhere. Some places have huge tides, while others barely notice them. In Canada's Bay of Fundy, tides are extreme. The water level can rise more than 15 meters, taller than a 5-story building. Meanwhile, in the Mediterranean Sea, the tides are barely noticeable. The difference between high and low tide is only about 50 centimeters. In the Indian Ocean, some places like the coast of India have mixed tides. Sometimes they're high, sometimes low, depending on the shape of the coastline. Did you know tides can affect rivers too? In the Amazon, a huge tidal wave called the pororoca rushes upstream, creating massive waves. So why are tides different everywhere? It depends on the shape of the land, how deep the water is, and even the wind. Every coastline has its own tide story. The shape of the land changes how tides behave. Bays and narrow coastlines trap water, making tides rise higher, while open coasts let water spread out. Deeper oceans absorb more of the tide's energy, making tides smaller. But in shallow waters, waves slow down and pile up, creating higher tides. Strong winds and storms push ocean water around, making tides even higher. Hurricanes can create storm surges that flood entire cities. The sun also affects tides. When the sun and moon align, their gravity pulls together, making super high tides called spring tides. When the sun and moon are at a right angle, their gravity cancels out, making weaker tides called neap tides. Tides depend on land shape, ocean depth, winds, and even the sun. That's why every coastline has its own tidal pattern, making each place special. Fishermen rely on tides. During high tide, they sail out to catch fish, and during low tide, they return safely to shore. Big ships need deep water to move. If the tide is too low, they can get stuck. Ports plan around tides to keep trade moving. We can use the tides to make electricity. Special turbines spin with the moving water, creating clean energy for homes and cities. Tides can be dangerous too. In some places, Fast-moving tides create huge waves that can flood streets and houses. The Bay of Fundy in Canada has the highest tides in the world. The water level changes by more than 15 meters every day. No matter where you live, the tides affect us all. From the food we eat to the energy we use, the ocean is always moving, shaping life on Earth. Have you ever watched the waves roll in and out? The ocean's rhythm is calming, just like a heartbeat of the Earth. For centuries, people have told stories about the tides. Some say the moon controls the sea, while others believe ocean spirits guide the waves. Many coastal towns plan their lives around the tides. Fishing, trading, even celebrations happen when the water is just right. Even though the moon is far away, its pull is strong. Just like the tides, people feel connected to something greater than themselves. The ocean never stops moving, just like time. It reminds us that change is natural and always brings something new. Just like the tides, we all rise and fall, face changes, and keep moving forward. The ocean story is our story too. Wow! We started with a simple question. Why do tides change differently in different places? Now, we've explored the forces behind it. We learned that the moon's gravity pulls on Earth's oceans, creating bulges of water. That's how high and low tides happen. But Earth's continents and coastlines change how the water moves. Some places have huge tides, while others barely notice them. For example, the Bay of Fundy in Canada has the highest tides in the world, while the Mediterranean Sea barely changes. Tides shape our world, affecting boats, fishing, and even wildlife. Many animals depend on the rhythm of the tides to survive. So next time you visit the ocean, pay attention to the tides. What will the water be like where you are? Every beach has a story to tell. Did you know? If the moon suddenly disappeared, tides would shrink drastically, and Earth's oceans would become much calmer. The moon isn't the only one controlling the tides. The sun also pulls on Earth's oceans. But since it's so far away, its effect is smaller. The Amazon River has a crazy tidal wave called the Pororoca. It rushes upstream, creating waves that surfers can ride for miles. Tides don't just happen on Earth. Even Jupiter's moon, Europa, has icy tides beneath its frozen surface, maybe even hiding an ocean. Surprise! Tides slow down Earth's rotation just a little bit every year. Millions of years ago, a day was only 22 hours long. The tides are amazing, shaping life on Earth in ways we never imagined. What other secrets of the ocean are still waiting to be discovered?